These giants are the engine room of British wind power, each column more than 250 metres tall, carrying blades longer than a football pitch, capable of powering a home for a day with a single turn once they're installed 120 miles out to sea at Dogger Bank. Made in Hull, these blades are also at the heart of the government's renewable ambitions, but the price is rising.
Like everyday life, I think we've seen the price of materials increase, of course. Those materials are coming from across the world, so transportation also plays its part.
Those price pressures are reflected in a wind power auction that delivered record new capacity, but at a cost. The government has agreed to pay developers a guaranteed price of £91 a megawatt hour, rising with inflation for 20 years. That's 11% higher than last year's auction and confirms the upward trend since 2021. With 8.4 gigawatts of new wind power committed, enough to power up to 8 million homes, the auction was the largest ever and a major step closer to the goal of installing at least 43 gigawatts of offshore wind by 2030, when Energy Secretary Ed Miliband wants the grid to be powered almost entirely from low-carbon sources.
This is a good deal for bill payers and it's a massive step forward for our energy security. Enough offshore wind to supply power to 12 million homes. And what's also crucial is it gets us off those fossil fuel markets controlled by petrostates and dictators.
Do you stand by the pledge to cut bills by £300?
Yes, we said that we'd cut bills by up to £300 by 2030, and that's what we're going to do.
That promise depends on building more renewables to reduce exposure to gas-fired power stations, which still set the price for electricity most of the time and, say the government, are more expensive and slower to build than new wind. But wind comes with extra costs too, including paying generators hundreds of millions of pounds to switch off when the grid can't handle the power they produce. The opposition say this is a bad deal that they may not honour if returned to power.
The problem that you've got is we're locked in for 20 years, so we would throw the book at them. We'll take legal advice and we'd look at what we can do. But I'm very driven by bringing down prices for the country. If you look at the country's electricity system, it's some of the cleanest electricity anywhere in the world, but it's the most expensive.
This auction round was unquestionably good news for the UK renewables sector and the jobs it supports. But the promise that renewable also means cheap has never been more contested.
The government says that the renewable power generated by blades like this will bring down bills as well as carbon. But the reality is the cost of construction and financing have both risen, which means guaranteeing higher prices for longer. Renewables may bring down your bills in future, but we've got to build them first.
Wind will remain an essential component of the UK electricity mix, whoever is in power. But unless bills fall along with emissions, public confidence in the energy transition may be blown away. Paul Kelso, Sky News.